So now there's a manhunt still underway for additional suspects tied to that alleged White House UFC terror plot. This is happening as federal documents identify the accused ringleader as an illegal immigrant from Mexico. There's the mugshot. Here's David Spunt live in D.C. And David, hello.
Well, hello, Bill. 5 are behind bars. Authorities looking for more, given that they discovered a group chat with 23 people. We have a picture of the people currently in custody facing those charges. Tyson Proper from Ohio, Brian Roa and Michael Thomas from California. Daniel Eskridge from Missouri, who appears before a judge for a detention hearing this morning. And as you mentioned, Abraham Alvarez from Nebraska, who overstayed his visa in 2001 and is from Mexico, but he is a recipient of DACA, and that's why he is in the United States. Now, investigators tell Fox the alleged plan was to use drones with explosives to hit buildings near the event, which would force a mass evacuation, steer crowds towards a pre-staged sniper team. A, quote, second wave was allegedly planning to storm the White House gate. One suspect told investigators the goal was to target capitalist elites or people that receive money from AIPAC, the Israeli Public Affairs Committee. Investigators say that they have screenshots of the phones of an accused plotter that feature aerial photos and maps around D.C. discussing sniper and drone positions. Police officials, though, yesterday, Bill, here in the nation's capital, said that they are focused on all threats ahead of the events celebrating America's 250th birthday here in Washington. Watch.
Things can change, new information can come in, so we're always evaluating that. We also look at how we're deploying resources. Do we need to increase resources? Do we need to change the types of covert or overt resources we see?
And one law enforcement source brief says officials believe that they have the most imminent threat actors already charged in this case, but they do want to talk to the other people on that chat.
Hey, all right, David. Thanks, David Spunt. With that, Dana's got more right now.
Yeah, I want to bring in Fox News contributor Donna Rotunno. She is a criminal defense attorney and a podcast host of Crime and Justice with Donna Rotunno, which you've got to listen to. I want to play this one thing from Jeanine Pirro. She's, of course, the U.S. attorney there in D.C. Watch.
The threat to the UFC situation is being handled by other offices. Venue is literally in other states, and we do not have a piece of that here in D.C.
You don't expect that case will end up in your office?
I don't think so, not based on what we know so far. Most of the actions are outside of D.C. In fact, all of them that we're aware of are outside of the district.
There's a map, Donna, where all the suspects came from, all these different states, and they thought that they were communicating secretly. Of course, I guess that's what happens when you try to do that. All the digital evidence goes back to them. What do you think about this case?
Well, obviously, it's quite scary that this is something that could have happened on such a big stage. And thankfully, our government was able to intercept what was happening and thwart this awful plan. It is very interesting to see how this is happening all over the United States. And Judge Jeanine is correct. Without any actual action taking place in D.C., they would not have jurisdiction. So it's these other states that will come in and the federal agencies out of those states that will take care of the prosecutions of these cases. I expect that all of these judges will keep these people in custody. I can't imagine that they will let them out and put them in a situation where they can be electronically speaking to others again. I do hope that they're able to find and communicate with the others that were involved in this. I mean, this could have been a very catastrophic event taking place in D.C. last weekend.
Donna, they have said that the UFC plot ringleader was Abraham Alvarez. We showed his mugshot earlier. Maybe they can put it up again. And apparently he was brought here illegally as a child, so he would be classified as one of those dreamer-type people, but certainly not the American dream that you would imagine he would want.
No, of course, Dana. And I think that really goes to the bigger conversation and why President Trump was elected in the first place. I mean, this was a situation where, here's somebody who has the ability to be here, even though he was not properly, born here and didn't have the right citizenship, but he was granted this ability to stay here. And then when we allow him that right, look at what happened. So I think that this goes to the bigger conversation and really shows that the Trump policies of trying to remove people that should not be here are quite important. I mean, look, most people involved in this, I think, have ties to circumstances like this. And it really goes to show that people that sometimes claim they want to be here do not want to be here for the right reasons.
Right. Okay.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.